Welcome to Minutes World. Today we are going to see about Antarctica. Antarctica is Earth's southernmost continent. It contains the geographic South Pole and is situated in the Antarctic region of the southern hemisphere, almost entirely south of the Antarctic Circle, and is surrounded by the Southern Ocean. At 14,200,000 square kilometers, 5,500,000 square miles, it is the fifth largest continent and nearly twice the size of Australia. It is by far the least populated continent, with around 5,000 people in the summer and around 1,000 in the winter. About 98% of Antarctica is covered by ice that averages 1.9 kilometers, 1.2 miles, 6,200 feet in thickness, which extends to all but the McMurdo Dry valleys and the northernmost reaches of the Antarctic Peninsula. Antarctica, on average, is the coldest, driest, and windiest continent, and has the highest average elevation of all the continents. Most of Antarctica is a polar desert, with annual precipitation of 200 mm, 7.9 in, along the coast and far less inland. Yet 80% of the world freshwater reserves are stored there, enough to raise global sea levels by about 60 meters, 200 feet, if all of it were to melt. The temperature in Antarctica has dropped to minus 89.2 degrees Celsius, minus 128.6 degrees Fahrenheit, or even minus 94.7 degrees Celsius, minus 135.8 degrees Fahrenheit, as measured from space, though the average for the third quarter, the coldest part of the year, is minus 63 degrees Celsius, minus 81 degrees Fahrenheit. Organisms native to Antarctica include many types of algae, bacteria, fungi, plants, protista, and certain animals, such as mites, nematodes, penguins, seals and tardigrades. Vegetation, where it occurs, is tundra. Antarctica was the last region on Earth to be discovered, likely unseen until 1820 when the Russian expedition of Fabian Gottlieb von Bellingshausen and Mikhail Lazarev on Vostok and Mirny sighted the Fimbul ice shelf. The continent remained largely neglected for the rest of the 19th century because of its harsh environment, lack of easily accessible resources, and isolation. In January 1840, land at Antarctica was discovered for the first time, almost simultaneously, by the United States Exploring Expedition, under Lieutenant Charles Wilkes, and a separate French expedition under Jules Dumont d'Urville. The latter made a temporary landing. The Wilkes expedition, though it did not make a landing, remained long enough in the region to survey and map some 800 miles of the continent. The first confirmed landing was by a team of Norwegians in 1895. Antarctica is governed by parties to the Antarctic Treaty System. 12 countries signed the Antarctic Treaty in 1959, and 38 have signed it since then. The treaty prohibits military activities, mineral mining, nuclear explosions and nuclear waste disposal. It supports scientific research and protects the continent's ecology. Between 1,000 and 5,000 people from many countries reside at research stations scattered across the continent. The name Antarctica is the Romanized version of the Greek compound word Antarcticate, feminine of Antarctikos, meaning opposite to the Arctic, opposite to the north. Aristotle wrote in his book Meteorology about an Antarctic region in c. 350 BC. Antarctica has no indigenous population. According to Maori oral history in New Zealand, Huite Rangiora and his crew explored Antarctic waters in the early 7th century on the vessel Te Iwiota. Accounts name the area Te Tai-Ukaupia, which describes a frozen ocean, and arrowroot, which resembles fresh snow when scraped. The oldest known human remains in Antarctica was a skull that belonged to a young Yaghan woman on Yamuna Beach at the South Shetland Islands, which dates back to 1819 to 1825. She was found in 1985. About 98% of Antarctica is covered by the Antarctic ice sheet, a sheet of ice averaging at least 1.6 kilometers, 1.0 miles thick. The continent has about 90% of the world's ice, and thus about 70% of the world's fresh water. If all of this ice were melted, sea levels would rise about 60 meters, 200 feet. Antarctica is the coldest of Earth's continents. It was ice-free until about 34 million years ago, when it became covered with ice. Invertebrate life of Antarctica includes microscopic mites like the Elascozetes antarcticus, lice, nematodes, tardigrades, rotifers, krill and springtails. Some species of marine animals exist and rely, directly or indirectly, on the phytoplankton. Antarctic sea life includes penguins, blue whales, orcas, colossal squids and fur seals. About 1,150 species of fungi have been recorded from Antarctica, of which about 750 are non-lichen forming and 400 are lichen forming. About 300 million years ago, Permian forest started to cover the continent, and tundra vegetation survived as late as 15 million years ago, but the climate of present-day Antarctica does not allow extensive vegetation to form. Thanks for watching, subscribe my channel and share my videos.